So Neera Tandem is in the indie news. If you don't know, that's Neera Tandem. You can read that. I'm not going to sit there and explain that to you. She just tweeted a lot of like weird shit, and people think that's why she's not going to get her. She's not going to get past the Senate because she was mean to Republicans on Twitter. Yo, like I get government officials being on Twitter, but maybe you shouldn't be personally on Twitter because apparently you can't handle your feelings getting fucking hurt. But
for joining us, I want to get to several important critical issues. But first, what's your reaction to this news that Democratic Senator Manchin will not vote to confirm Neera Tandon for OMB? You, of course, questioned her about her tweets. She personally attacked you in some of those tweets. Is it time, do you believe, for President Biden to withdraw her nomination, put someone else potentially there?
Well, I worry less about what Ms. Tandon did in the past than what she's going to do in the future. I will be speaking to her early next week to get a sense of what she wants to do as head of the OMB. But so right now, let me
just ask you, Senator.
As the chairman of the Budget Committee,
would you vote to confirm her if it was the
well, I'm going to be talking to her early next week. But what I am focusing on right now as chairman of the Budget Committee is the absolute necessity of us passing this COVID emergency relief bill, which is life and death for tens of millions of working class and middle class Americans. We have got to get those $1,400 direct payments into the pockets of every working class.
Focus, my man is focused. Again, I'm going to keep repeating this. You want to hear a political take? I don't understand why politicians aren't just this. Like, I get Bernie Sanders might have like a weird way of explaining it. I get he's not marketable. I get that. I can understand the metrics of trying to explain this to older people who are stuck in their ways and don't want like a radical leftist, as if he's not center left in any other country. But like, that's all I want to hear from my politicians. Yeah, we're getting the help. That's it. I'm focused on that. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about this wishy-washy Twitter bullshit. Like, I'm getting my people help. And yet somehow, Senator Ted Cruz is in the news. Like, fuck, man.
To extend unemployment benefits until September. And we, by expanding the child tax credit, can cut childhood poverty in America by 50%. And as the president just mentioned today, we have to do everything we can to increase the production of vaccines in America and get them into the arms of the American people. That's how we open our schools safely. That's how we get workers back to work.
I want to talk about the COVID relief bill, which is so critical, as you correctly point out. But is my understanding correct that you have not yet made up your mind on whether to confirm Neera Tandon for OMB?
I will be talking to Ms. Tandon early in the week. We've talked once. I want to talk to her again. That is a very important position, and I want to know that the head of OMB is somebody who is going to be standing up for the working families of this country, for the middle class, for lower income people, and has the guts to stand up to the big money interests who have so much influence over what goes on in Washington.
Let's get to some of the specifics of the COVID relief bill. The White House responded, as you probably know,
beautiful,
procedural to a report that the president thinks it's unlikely the $15 minimum wage actually winds up staying in the deal. They say Biden hopes it remains, but knows it has to go through a lengthy Senate procedural parliamentary process. What are you hearing from the White House specifically on this?
Well, it's not the White House that matters on this one.
There you go.
My committee is doing what the Health and Education Committee is doing, the Finance Committee with Senator Schumer and leadership are doing. And all of us are working together to, and I won't bore the American people with the arcane rules of the Senate, but what we have got to do is...
That's my grandpa. That's Uncle Bernie. Uncle Bernie for the win. Come on. Like, who's saying this? Who's on television saying this?
convince the parliamentarian, one person, that the $15 an hour minimum wage, which in my view we desperately need, is consistent with the rules of the Senate and reconciliation. We made, all these committees and their lawyers made those arguments. I think that they are right. I think we're on the right side, and I think we can win that argument. We'll know about that probably definitively next week.
As you know, right now the minimum wage is only $7.25 an hour, and it's been like that since 2009. If it were included in the new legislation, it would immediately, I understand, go up to $9.50 an hour. Then there would be annual increases, but gradually it wouldn't get to $15 an hour until 2025. Is that your understanding as well?
Well, it's not my understanding, Wolf. I wrote the bill. That's what it is. And I appreciate you making that point, because a lot of people are saying, oh my God, it's $7.25 right now. And if we raise it to $15 an hour next year, a lot of businesses are going to have trouble accommodating that increase. And the answer is, you've just indicated, it is not. It's going to go up gradually until 2025. And furthermore, we intend to provide tax credits to small businesses.
What the fuck is going on
with this wage increase? But this is employment. It is the fact that half of our workers are living paycheck to paycheck, and millions of people are working for starvation wages. You cannot survive in any state in this country on $8 or $9 an hour. You certainly cannot raise your kids on those wages.
All right. So this is going to become a conversation about minimum wage real quick. I've done this before, and I said, let's do some math. Are you guys ready? I'm going to show you some math. I'm going to show you some math. It's already in there. It's already in there. That's how much you make working $7.25 for 40 hours. 40 hours a day. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. That's horribly wrong. That's how much you make each day. Multiply that by 5 days a week. And multiply that by 52 weeks a year. Am I doing that math wrong? No, I'm not, right? Oh, I'm Ed Boy. I'm Ed Boy. And see, this is what I'm talking about. If I had a chat that was like super lively, I would be getting so many Keck W's right now for missing that. Guys, how are you going to let me make that mistake? Okay. 725 times 8 times 5. And that's what you make a week times 52 weeks. That's how much you make a year. I knew I wasn't bugging, so I did that math right the first time. That's how I got to 40. Okay, yeah, 40 hours a week, and then you multiply those 40 hours a week times 52 weeks. How y'all gonna let me get that fucking mistake right? All right, so that, and it's supposed to be 30% of your income is supposed to go to rent. I've already done this before. The maximum that you can afford is like $350, $360, $380. You would have to move. Where is it? I just saw it. You would have to move to Missouri. I don't even know if these are right. 298, 299, 3 Howard Square. I'm gonna show you the address. So apparently, this apartment right here is 280, right? In order to live off of 725, you gotta live in a town near Indianapolis in Indiana. A friend of mine just moved to Indiana too. That's where you gotta live to live off of $7.25 an hour. All right, we fixed the math though. All right, damn. I told my chat to shit on me for this, and now I'm mad that my chat is shitting on me for this. Okay, okay. So where in Manhattan can I move on $7.25 a month? $7.25 an hour. I tell you what, since this person wants to be so detracting, the person I'm talking about, let's do it the other way. Since the minimum wage in New York City is now $15 an hour. 15 times 8 times 5. That's how much you make. And then you multiply that by 52 weeks. You make $31,000. Whoops, wrong. Sorry. Oopsies. So you can afford $9,360 of that. And now remember, that's before taxes are taken out, regardless of any other experience. And you divide that by 12 months. The maximum rent that you can afford on $15 an hour is $780. Bitchware. I click 700. Let's go max rent 950. Unavailable, 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 unavailable. All in these buildings, all in these buildings, all in these buildings. So you got to kick out more of your expenses, which means you have less money, which means you cannot survive.
We need the minimum wage to be a living wage, and conservatively speaking, $15 by 2025 is what we've got to do. I would go further, but I'll accept that.
And a lot of people don't appreciate that. It's really sad that for 11 or 12 years, it's remained at only $7.25 an hour. You can't make
slave
a living
wages.
in poverty if that's what you're making right now. So it's got to go up, and let's see if it does go up. But there are some, not just Republicans, but some Democrats who are opposing a raise, and they'll say they'll vote against the entire package if it's included. What do you say to them, like Senator Manchin, Senator Sinema, for example?
Well, what I say is, look, there are 50 Democrats, and any one can torpedo any piece of legislation. But I believe that in this unprecedented moment in American history, Wolf, where so many people are suffering, working class people worried about feeding their kids, worried about being evicted, paying a doctor's bill. I believe we're all going to stand together. We're going to support the president, notwithstanding, our differences on this or that aspect. I have differences with the bill. But at the end of the day, what the American people are saying in overwhelming numbers is we are hurting. We are worried about our kids. We're worried about our parents. Help us. And if we are one country, and if the government is supposed to represent the people of this country, we have got to act. We've got to act decisively. And I am confident that every member of the Democratic caucus, and hopefully some Republicans, will do that.
Well, they're going to have to make up their minds very quickly because it's coming up. It's got to come up soon. By mid-March, it's got to be passed. Otherwise, a lot more people are going to be suffering right now. Senator Sanders, thanks so much for joining us.
So to echo this point, it's to the point where it's too obvious. You're not giving stimulus checks. The country's not open. Pay people to stay home. Pay businesses to keep their overheads afloat. Like, there's so much easy. All right, new segment, because I'm going to go into this.